You don't know that you're shooting The Shining when you're shooting The Shining. You know, it's just not part of the deal. You know, I know movies that I've done, No Country, where they said, you know, you must have felt that there was something. I remember Ethan walking up to me in the middle of the desert, and he just walked by and shuffled by, and he goes, nobody's going to see this movie. I was like, what are you saying in the middle of the film for? But I wanted to say one thing, just to, and I did this movie called American Gangster, and I showed up, and I was supposed to lose a lot of weight because I had a vision of losing a lot of weight, and this is the actor pretense, and I didn't, you know, out of laziness. So I showed up, and they had these measurements of me skinnier. So I put on what I had to put on, the 1970s polyester suit and all that, and it was very tight, really, really tight. And I went in to rehearse with Russell, and I hadn't met Ridley. I'd been given the part because I taped myself and sent it to him, and I was given the part. And they said, well, look, we're going to do it like this, and we'd like to do it like this. And I said, great, okay. Do you mind if I just try one time, just to kind of, you know, I just wanted to get my nerves out. I was shaking. And then finally, I kind of started the scene, and then I grabbed a chair, and I pulled it up to Russell. And as I sat down, the ass of my pants ripped wide open. And I thought, you know, usually I would be a guy who would, you know, it would be a great moment to break the ice, and I missed that moment. So I continued with the scene with Russell looking at me, you know, deeply in my eyes, and the sweat started to come down, and I started to shake, and then we finished. It was the worst acting I've ever done, for sure, bar none. And we finished, and Ridley, there was a long silence, and then Ridley looked at me, and he says, so, are you good? And I said, yeah, I think so. You know, and I backed out of the room, and I went to my trailer, and I took off my pants, and I gave my pants to wardrobe, and like you, I waited to be fired. And then finally, after 5 minutes, there was a knock at the door, and it was Ridley. And I opened the door, and I said, hey, and I was ready to apologize. And I said, hey, and he says, listen, what you're doing is amazing. He said, you brought a vulnerability that I didn't see in the character. And I was like, what? And just continued. So you never know is the point. You never know.